Hello, let's do one up. Puzzle 363. It's a 7x7 today, and today is Tuesday tutorial day. So if this is your first time seeing this puzzle or you want a nice refresher on exactly in depth what strategies you should be looking at in one up, this is the day to do that. All right, so let's hit play, and I'm going to carefully go over the rules, and then we'll start with the order of strategies that I like to look at. All right, so the rules. First of all, it's kind of like Sudoku, although different in some important ways. But the idea is we need to put a number, a digit, into each cell. So when we've solved the puzzle, we have filled a digit in each cell, but there's only one solution, so we can't just willy-nilly guess digits. The thing that restricts digits is that in each row and column, we have these bold borders, and those bold borders split the row or column into segments. So for example, this bold border here has split this row into two segments. So this segment here on the left and this segment here on the right. A segment of length n has the digits 1 through n exactly once each. So this is a 3-length segment, so it needs 1, 2, and 3 once each. So it already has a 3 in it, so we don't get another 3. We need a 1 and a 2. This segment here is 4 long, so it needs 1 through 4 once each. This row here doesn't have any bold borders, and so it is a single segment of length 7, so it's going to need 1 through 7 once each. Columns work exactly the same way. All right, so those are the rules. If you want to try the puzzle yourself, do it now. Pause the video, do it, and then you can come back. I'm going to start solving it. All right, so the first thing I like to do is look for one-cell segments, because one-cell segments, you can just immediately fill a 1 into each of them. Every time you fill a digit, I recommend doing a follow-up. Now, how do you scan the follow-ups? Well, it's not going to affect, like, this was a 1 because of the row, so it's not going to affect the row. We just have to look at the column segment it's in and see if the fact that these can't be 1 affects their row segments. And in this case, this already couldn't have been a 1, and this can't be a 1, but it doesn't like place the 1 in this row or anything. So no follow-up there. Here, this one here, we want to check each of these columns. This column, how is it affected by this not being 1? It isn't. This already couldn't have been 1. Now this can't be 1, and there is a nice follow-up from this, which is this column segment still needs a 1, and now that this can't be 1, we already know this couldn't be 1 because of the 1 next to it. Again, you can't repeat in the row, right? So these can't be 1s. And so this ends up being the 1 for the column. And we call that a hidden single. If you're going to use Sudoku terminology, some people push back against using Sudoku terminology in one up, but I think that if it's correlated, I think it's perfectly fine to use the Sudoku term. So this is called a hidden single because a single is how you place digits. Anything that's a single will place to a digit. And the hidden single places the digit because it's the only place in that segment that digit can go, so it must, because we need to place that digit in the segment somewhere. So we needed a 1 somewhere in this segment, and there was only one place for it. And it's kind of hiding, right? It's not easy to see necessarily that that was the only place for it. But once you do, you can place it, and it's a single. All right, now we can follow up on this one that we just placed. And so this can't be 1, this can't be 1, this already couldn't be, this can't be 1. I'm not seeing any amazing deductions from that right now. So we need to go back to scanning. So we have found our 1-length segments. Now I'm going to look at the shorter segments still. Like length, it depends on the size of the grid, but I would go up to 4 to start with, maybe even 3. But any segment that's 4 or fewer in length, I'm just going to go through them one by one, first in the rows, then in the columns. You can scan randomly, but then you might miss something. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if there are any singles. So there is a hidden single in this segment here because we need to place a 1. This 3 is sitting in here, so it can't also be a 1. And here, this has a 1 already in the column, so we can't repeat it in the column. So only one place for 1. And then this is, if there's only 1 cell left in the segment, you can always fill it with the digit that's left. So we haven't placed a 2 yet, so that's where the 2 goes. All right, we do want to follow up on these, always follow up. So this 1 looks down, and this 2-length segment still needs a 1. So we can place the 1, and then that also places the 2. We placed this 1 and 2, so we do want to follow up on those as well. So again, we're just looking at how these not being 1 affects things. So these now can't be 1, and how these not being 2 might affect things. I'm not seeing anything amazing from that. And then we also placed this 2, so we want to follow up on that as well. This can't be 2 now, which may be interesting, but there are still 2 places for 2. But I'm seeing something else about this cell, which is, notice how this row maxes out at 4. We need 1, 2, 3, and 4. We already have the 1, so we need 2, 3, and 4. But this column already has a 2 and a 3 in it. So this is what's called a naked single. The reason it's called naked is because if you were to pencil all of its options, you would nakedly see that it can only be a 4. It cannot be 1, it cannot be 2, it cannot be 3. So it's sitting there without its clothes on, I guess. Because it's just like obviously only the 4, so we can just place it. What's interesting is different people who are new to games like this find the hidden or the naked single more natural, and it's never been clear to me why one feels more natural than the other. I think, but both are very important ones to understand. So this has to be a 4 because we have to put a digit in it, and 4 is the only digit that's allowed by the rules of 1UP. So therefore, it must be a 4. And that leaves us, now, a good follow-up from placing this 4 is also looking at, again, these two can't be 4 now. So what we could do is we could look at this cell here and see that it's down to 2 or 3, but actually the column says it can't be a 3. So this is a naked 2. Or you could just look and see that this 3 looking down, now that this cell can't be 3, the 3 looking down makes this not a 3. So this has to be the 3. So you can either get the naked 2 and then finish the segment with a 3, or you can get the hidden 3 and finish the segment with the 2. They're kind of equivalent strategies, just from viewing from a different angle. This 3 does allow us to finish this segment. Anytime you have one cell left in a segment, just place that digit. Following up on this 2, we can see this can't be 2 anymore. So you could say this is a naked 4 and then this finishes with the 2, or you could place the hidden 2 and finish with the 4. It's equivalent. So we want to keep following up here if we can. I'm noticing this is not 2 and this is not 2, so 2's gotten limited in this column, but it can't be placed. We got this 4 as well. We got this 2. So I'm not immediately seeing more follow-up from these. It's easy to miss follow-ups, so if I am, I apologize. But yeah, so that all of that was just from this one segment and then following up on it. So we have more segments to look at. So you can always go back and default to just going back and scanning the segments that you haven't scanned yet. So this is 4 length. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. I am seeing, just because we're in the neighborhood, I'm seeing this here. This 2 tells us this is 1 and 2, which could help this row as well. Does getting this 1 help anything? Does getting the 2 help anything? I'm not immediately clear. Actually, look at this column here. Because what I saw was that this cell here can't be 2 anymore. So we want to look at its column and go, well, what does that mean for 2 in this column? This already couldn't have been 2, and this already couldn't have been 2. So now this is the only place for 2 in the column. And we want to follow up on that 2 if we can. This can't be 2, this can't be 2, and this can't be 2. If you remember earlier, I noted that 2 is limited. Now this is the only place for 2 in this column. And then we can finish this row with the 1. If I ever say row or column, I do mean the segment that I'm currently looking at, not the entire row or column. I hope that's clear. I don't have great terminology for that. All right, so now I'm looking at how this 2 might affect things, how the 1 might affect things. These already couldn't have been 2. This 1 looking up. This can't be 1 now, but we can't quite do anything with that. All right. I am seeing something with this segment here, so I'm going to do that right away, which is this 3. This has been here from the start. This 3 looks here. So this is our 1 and this is our 3, however you want to think about that. And so now this 1 looking up does place our 1 and our 4 here. All right, we need 3 and 4 in this column. I'm just looking to follow up here. These can't be 1s now. Actually, where's the 1 in this row now, right? This 1 took it out of here that we just placed. This 1 says not here, this 1 says not here, and this is a 2. So the 1 actually goes here in the row. And we're left with 4 and 5 in this column. This 4 tells us this is the 5 and this is the 4. There's a lot to follow up on here. We placed a digit in this row, which is now down to 3 and 7. And so this is something that's important for big digits, which is 7 is the biggest digit. It can only go in rows and columns with no bold borders at all. So the 7 cannot go here. This is a 6-length segment. And so this has to be the 7, and then that we can finish this row with the 3. I don't know what I said earlier, but 3 and 7 is what was left. Anyway, I feel like in my memory I said the wrong digit, but who knows? And when it comes to big digits, sometimes after you place a big digit, you should just be thinking, okay, how many 7s can we actually place in this puzzle? Now this is a nice trick, which is we just have to look at either the rows or the columns. We don't have to look at both. So we just need to look for how many rows do we have that have no bold borders. So 1, 2, and 3. So I know already we're going to have exactly 3 columns also, because you need the same number of segments of the same length in every row and every column. So if we have 3 segments of length 7 in the rows, we're also going to have 3 segments of length 7 in the columns, and that's forced by how 1UP works. It's a logical deduction from the base rule set. But anyway, so now we want to think, okay, well, we have 1 7 already. Where do the other 2 7s go? And so they're going to go in the 2 columns that don't have a 7, this column and this column. And you can see that in this column here, this 3 is sitting where one of the 7s want it to be. So this is the only place for 7 in this column, and now this is the final third 7. So now we're done with 7s. So that's a nice follow-up on having placed a 7. You could also have looked for that before placing it. But I hadn't gotten there yet. I still haven't even gotten close to having finished scanning my short segments. And with all the follow-ups, we're almost finished solving the puzzle, which is absolutely fine. So I placed this 7 and 3. I'm gonna follow up on this 3 if I can. First thing I'm noticing is that we only need 2 digits left in this column now, and one of them's a 4, and this 4 C's here. So this is our 4, and we finish with a 5. That finishes this row. We can just place the 6. There's a lot to follow up on, but I'm just going to follow up on this 6. This column needs a 4 and a 5, and this 4 tells us that's 5 and that's 4. This 4 now in this column tells us this is the 3 and this is the 4. Again, I'm just following the flow of the digits I got. This, and you try to have to keep a stack in your head of like which ones you want to go back to and look at. But anyway, you get used to that as you solve. We have to place the 5 here for this row. And we just have a few digits to place. They'll probably place automatically. So here we need a 3. This 3 tells us this is the 3 and this is the 5. And then finally our last 2 digits. I'm just going to look at the row. We need a 2, which has to go here because we had this 2 here. And we finish with a 6. There we go. We filled every single cell. We finished in 11 minutes, 30 seconds. Would have been way faster without explanations. But Tuesday is tutorial day. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully the length of the video didn't throw you off. But I'm going to label it Tuesday tutorial. So anyway, those are I didn't even go over some of the more advanced techniques today because I didn't need them. But if you watch my videos, when I do encounter a more advanced technique, I do often explain it. So, but this is a really nice intro to 1UP, the basic techniques. And so yeah, keep watching if you want to learn more. And if you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.